Previously on Lost.
Greetings! This is Ron Smalek.
And Fellonius the Wizard, and we are probably in for the longest of our podcast of Previously on Lost. Season 3.
Oh, well, I guess I'm out of the book club.
That's perhaps because Ben doesn't like it, you know that.
Hello.
Hello, old people.
It has only been a week for the listeners, or so, but it's been a couple weeks for us since we recorded. Yep. And we've both been absolutely dying to talk about the first 3 episodes of Season 3 of Lost.
And he's not joking at all.
And dying to watch more, which is a good sign.
Yep, absolutely. And this should be the bad part of Lost series, you said?
It's getting there pretty soon. I can see it coming. For example, these 3 episodes, I really liked the first one. I didn't care for most of the second one and some of the things in the third one, but there were some elements I did like. So, kind of a mixed.
Yeah, I will agree when we get there.
Yeah. And before we start, so just a quick note: if you're on YouTube watching these, awesome. Please leave us comments. Tell us what you're watching, what you think of the show. Ask us questions. We love to hear from people like Koba2802, who left comments about, what theme was in season 1 versus 2. We like hearing comments from Baker Bell, who's now watching ahead of us because she just can't wait. I had some nice comments from your friend Scofert and my friend Scofert, who likes the audio podcast on iTunes better than video, so he could just put his phone in his pocket and listen. Yep. And that is how I consume most of my media. And he has the same problem as me, is then you can't really leave a comment on iTunes, so then you have to wait and remember your comment and then go to YouTube and comment. So I'm right there with you on that.
Yeah, Mr. Scofford is also my technician in my radio program.
Yeah, you guys are real DJs.
Yes, 400-meter radio. Now, that's how far our radio goes.
Yeah.
Stop talking about those guys. Let's get into season 3.
Well, one more thing that is really cool, but you're not allowed to watch until you finish all the series is, I've been spending my time when I've been waiting for this podcast, checking out something called Chronologically Lost, where somebody took all the clips of every episode and recut them up into chronological order. So, for example, like the earliest flashback that we ever get in this show is the first clip that he shows, and then he shows others. So then he shows 94, 95.
Yeah.
Then the current season, then whatever comes next. So you could watch the whole show in chronological order, and it really gives you a different perspective. You can see things tied together differently. It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
And then there's 2 ladies who are doing a podcast about those chronological episodes. And it's funny because when you watch things in time order, the spoilers are very different. I mean, it's kind of like watching, the Star Wars prequels, and then by the time you get to episode 5, you're like, well, of course he's the dad. We already knew that. It's not a surprise. But it's interesting. You can draw different connections, like some things that happened in episodes at the end of season 2, and then things that happened in the beginning of season 3 that if you're looking at episodes individually, you just don't connect the dots. But
no.
So anyway, shout out for Chronologically Lost if people are interested in just looking at the series from a completely different angle. It's kind of cool.
Sounds really cool. Absolutely.
So what are we covering today?
We are covering episodes 1, 2, and 3 of season 3, and they are called Tale of Two Cities, The Glass Ballerina, and Further Instructions.
Yep. Who reads the first one?
Well, that should be me. It's my
Okay.
turn.
I think you say that every week.
No,
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Episode 1, The Tale of Two Cities. Jack, Kate, and Sawyer each wake up on their own to discover that they are being held prisoner by the others. Jack's attempt at escape reveals, no, yes, that he's in deeper, no,
Yep.
than he ever imagined. In a flashback, Jack's jealousy, what did he say?
Alienates. Alienates. Pushes away.
Alienates his wife.
Yep.
I have totally problem with reading black on dark green background. I can say that.
Mine's like a tan. I have
I wish it was.
the unexplored experience guide. Is that what you have? So I like this episode. I like it quite a bit. What about you?
Well, the flashbacks are useless. Again, I always say they're useless, but this time I really feel it's like, what brings that in? You really don't need flashbacks for that. He needs to know what the guy's name is. I mean, that's totally... Well, the fact that he's acting like that, that's okay.
Yeah.
But why should we see that? We are not really interested in... Well, I am not interested in Jack anymore.
No, I think it is just showing. So yeah, let's cover the flashback first. So it's a Jack flashback episode.
Yep.
And it's basically showing that the period of time when Jack and Sarah were having troubles, and then she said that she's been seeing someone else and is leaving Jack, and he starts like stalking her, like.
Yep.
Basically, he can't let things go. He can't let things go is the whole point.
Because he needs to fix it. Yeah, we know that. We have seen him trying for 2 seasons now, trying to fix things.
Yeah.
Without asking anyone.
And his dad at that point was going to Alcoholics Anonymous.
Yeah.
And basically, Jack is suspecting his dad. Well, he doesn't know if maybe the person Sarah was seeing was his dad.
Nope.
I thought they did that part pretty well, like building the suspicion.
But it's still more like those soap operas, like Dallas and stuff. I really don't need that.
No, but what I liked though, so I didn't care for the flashback. I don't care for this arc of him with Sarah. But at the end of this episode, though, Juliet asks Jack, okay, what do you want to know from your dossier?
Yeah.
Like, we have all this info, and Jack, the whole episode, he wants to know the guy's name, wants to know his name.
Yep.
Now he has the opportunity to find out the name, and he lets it go, and he just says, I want to know if she's happy. So, like, you see him grow in that moment. That was the whole purpose of the flashback, and I just like the way it was delivered at the end. I thought was nice.
Yeah, you can say that, but it says more about Jack's state of mind at the present than it was back then. But hey, come on. I've been in a so-called divorce, and I was angry for 3 months, and I was probably wanted to know stuff, but you have to let it go earlier than that. You can't just go around asking for someone's name for several years. That's totally stupid, especially when he's more intelligent than me, and I could get let go of after 3 months. Well, never mind. Let's get back to the island. The first scene.
Yeah, it opens with Juliet's eye.
Yes.
And she's listening to a record similar to the start of season 2, but she's listening to Downtown.
Yeah.
I was actually disappointed. I wish they would have used a more obscure song.
Yes.
But that's fine.
Yeah. Okay.
And she's in a house. We don't know who she is at first, of course.
Nope.
And she's got a book club going.
Yep.
And then there's what they first think of as an earthquake. They run outside, and we see the first person that we see is Ethan. He was fixing some pipes under her house.
Yep.
And then we see Henry, and then he looks up, and we see the plane break up.
Yes, that was awesome.
Now, just for those of you Minecraft fans, if you watch, and if you now go back and watch the trailer that I made for the CTM map, Lost CTM map, that is the first scene in the trailer where Henry, or I should call him Ben, looks up and sees the plane explode and split into pieces.
Hey.
Now,
I don't remember that.
Yeah. No, you wouldn't. Okay. I mean, there's no reason you would. But now that you've seen it, if you go back and watch it, it's not a shot-for-shot remake, but it's a remake.
Yeah.
And Henry...
And that was awesome.
Yeah, that was great. And Henry says, I want lists. He says, you go here. Ethan, you go to the beach. Goodwin, you go here. I want lists in 3 days. It felt very trained to me.
Absolutely.
Like these guys...
They are organized. If this is going to happen, we are going to do it this way.
Yeah, like they are taking orders, not questioning it, and it seems like something they've been told to do before.
Yep, for a reason, of course.
Yeah.
There wasn't anything in that peculiar scene when the townspeople gathered that you thought of?
Well,
directly?
I mean, now that you see Ben and you see these people, you know they live in some houses that are not, this disheveled camp.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But you didn't think about, no, you don't, because you're living in the middle of it. But I was totally peculiar of all white people. All white people, my friend.
I mean, I didn't notice it, but yes, you're completely correct. Obviously, we have seen like Pierre Chang, Martin Candle, whatever his name is Asian guy.
Yeah.
I don't think we've seen anyone else of other color, though.
No. And that really hooked me immediately. Mainly because I also got the 60s feeling about the village.
Yes, the architecture style was definitely
60s,
felt old.
Right? Yeah.
I love it, actually. Like, I feel like that quaint little town... I like that feeling a lot. Like I like that.
Okay. Well, I'll get back to it because I had that in my back of my head all the episode long, and I was not liking what I'm thinking. I was liking what I'm seeing, but not what I'm thinking.
Yep. So that happened. So now we know. So this season, right? It starts off with these people. So we're probably going to learn a lot about the others. Yeah. And Juliet and Ben. What do you think of, before we go into much more, like what do you think of, I think Juliet's really the only person we saw a lot of.
Yeah, and Ben, of course.
And Ben, yeah. What do you think of Juliet so far?
Well, I get a feeling of a vicious woman.
Yeah, she seems pretty ruthless, right?
Yeah.
Wow, this actually surprised me how strong she was. And
she is also a trouble for Ben.
Yeah, they seem to have some. They've got some past history. They've rubbed each other, or he's rubbed her the wrong way. Let me say it that way.
that might be, and it's already from the book club.
Yeah,
she has picked a book that Ben wouldn't like.
Yeah,
I mean, already there you get the feeling that she's going her direction, not his.
And you can see that the other people there are kind of like, like we don't want to get in the middle of this. like we're just doing what we're told.
Yes.
So it's an interesting situation for sure.
And it's only a feel. You don't really hear them say it out loud, but it's a feeling. They are just moving backwards when Juliet and Ben are in the same spot.
Yeah.
And they are often together alone, so that's good.
Yeah, I like her a lot more this time than I remember liking her before. Like, before she must have made an impression on me at some point, but I don't remember it being so quickly.
No, but she is a loose cannon. That means that she can go boom either way. She can go boom against Ben, or she could just do whatever she wants to. And she also do have some sort of degree.
I didn't see her as a loose cannon. I thought her of like really calculating and just vicious though.
Yeah, but she's like Kate. She's going her own way. She's not calculating Ben's way.
Yeah, I think so.
She's doing it because Juliet is feeling fine doing it. Mm-hmm. She's just like Kate. So Kate and her are going to be something to look forward to. Not really.
Interesting. Well, that's a good thing. I mean, we see her interacting with Jack, but not anyone else until later. So let's talk about where Jack and Kate and Sawyer are.
Yeah, let's start with Jack.
Yeah.
We get to know that he's inside of an aquarium where they held some big fishes.
Yeah, the sharks probably.
Most likely, yeah.
Yeah.
And dolphins, of course. And we get to know that because he wants to escape and he understands that he's underneath water. Sooner or later, we are going to get the proof that it's all Dharma, isn't it?
It does. So I forgot exactly. I'll have to look. I'll find it in my notes when we get to it. But there's some conversation, I think, with Jack and Juliet.
Yeah.
Where he implies. Oh yeah, here it is. He implies that they are the Dharma leftovers. Yeah. And she doesn't actually confirm or deny it. She just says that was a long time ago.
Yep.
Something like that. So it kind of implies that they are, but she didn't really confirm it.
But it doesn't really make sense either because, let's see, 80s. I think Ben is older than 35 years, and that means that he has been living on this island for all of his life. Mm-hmm. He says.
Yeah, and you know what? We didn't see a bunch of Dharma logos all over the town.
Somewhere we get the glimpse of one or two, right?
Did we?
Yeah, I think we did. I have to rewatch it. It's too far.
There was a Dharma logo on the fish biscuits that Sawyer gets.
Yeah.
I don't remember any in the town where Juliet and Ben live, but I could have just not put it in my notes.
Yeah. Well, that's Jack, and he's not content being locked up as usual. No.
No. No, and that whole water part where the water floods in, like I thought that was like in the third or fourth episode. Okay. You know, once again, I forgot that was so quick. But I love that part where Juliet punches him out.
Yep.
I was like, oh yeah, she's a bad egg.
Yep. Well, that makes it interesting because, she doesn't, as I said, she doesn't go the Ben's way.
Yeah.
Not all the time. If it's okay for the community, yeah. But if it's okay only for Ben, no. But Ben also benefits because, she's doing something that he likes.
Well, the other thing that I thought was interesting, the last thing I have on Juliet and Jack, is that there's a discussion that she has Jack's dad's autopsy.
Yeah.
And I found it interesting that they brought it up because I'm assuming he would have already seen it, when he was there.
Yeah.
The doctor. And so, is there some suspicion of foul play? Or like I kept saying before, maybe he's not really dead.
Exactly.
There's something in that autopsy. Like that's we're not done with that yet. That's somehow important because they brought it up.
Yeah.
In the dossier that she has on him.
And that's because we also have an empty coffin somewhere back in episode 1.
Yeah.
Season 1.
Yeah. So then we have Kate.
Yeah. And this was a part that I didn't like. She was to go and shower and should put on a dress. Mm-hmm. And then she should go and eat some breakfast, I think, with Ben.
Yeah.
And all the things that she was subjected to in that case was against her own will. She never uses any dresses. She doesn't want to be dressed up like a doll. Mm-hmm. She doesn't want to be ordered around.
Oh, no.
And all of that was, according to Ben, because he wanted her to have some nice time before it gets very nasty or worse.
Yeah, it's like they have some psych profiles of these people,
Yep.
and they're subjecting them each to different things that will, start steering them where they want them to go. I mean, it's very clear, like everything that's happening is a tactic.
Yeah. But in as we have seen, and now I realize back when we saw Kate later, now and then, we also saw that she doesn't go the right ways or something like that either. She always have her own agenda, whatever it might be, and it's not what people are thinking that she is thinking.
She's always she's prone to run, like she's always looking for a way out.
Yeah, and she will take any means to do it, and this is actually triggering her to do stuff that she doesn't. But I think also that her character is also so strong that she will rather die than submit to more of this type. We saw her later on with with a pickaxe, and she was actually doing more stuff than she was.
Sure, but would she sacrifice somebody else?
If
so
she
herself would die, but would she let someone harm Sawyer, for example?
Wow, we'll see about that.
Yeah, I mean they're basically linking. They're trying to connect people so that they can use them against each other. So Sawyer's, I think, pretty funny. What happens with him? He doesn't get a shower. He's not just he doesn't start off inside of a big tank.
Nope.
He's in an outdoor zoo cage.
Yes, and there are some experiments you can do in order to get food.
Yep, and the polar bears figured it out quicker than him, supposedly. Yep. And he gets tasered. And he learns how to get fish biscuits, and he eats them by pressing buttons in his cage. A lot of people don't like these cage episodes. I actually really liked all the cage stuff so far.
Well, it became even more fun when Kate is in the opposite cage.
Yeah.
And he throws biscuits at her.
Yeah.
She grabs them with one hand. We had some young fella in that cage before that. I totally forgot his name.
I don't remember his name.
I thought he was some sort of bait.
Yeah, I thought so too, but I'm not going to put all my money in that because it would seem like lazy writing. Like it would be too easy.
It's too obvious. Thank you, because that was also my feeling.
Yeah.
So he's probably he's done something wrong. Mm-hmm. Again, it's punishment and stuff.
Well, and I think I didn't put notes on this, but in one of these 3 episodes, or maybe it's all of them, I think he is Alex's boyfriend.
Okay.
Yeah, because it is, because I remember Alex, whenever, we're jumping a little bit ahead, but Alex said, like, have you seen this guy? He's my boyfriend, whatever.
Yeah.
So something, potentially he's in there to get Ben to get control over Alex, maybe because Alex helped Claire. That's the conclusion I jumped to.
Yeah.
I forget his name as well. Whoops.
We'll get back to him anyway.
So this one really set up where everybody was at. I can't remember. Did it show us anybody back at the beach? Saeed?
Nope.
We didn't see any of that, right?
I don't have anything.
I don't either. Okay, I think that's all I have on this episode.
But the two things more. You said it before, that Dharma initiative. Mm-hmm. That was then, now is important, she says.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That, I think, is also things. And I also had some sort of conclusion of the whole episode. I feel like Ben and that gang of people are somehow trying to establish or recreate the natural order for white men.
Okay.
There you have it.
I
they are racists.
Okay. I don't know. I didn't see anything.
Well, it is powered. It's guns in man's hands.
Mm-hmm.
It's white man only.
Yeah.
White man shuffling around other people that they just don't like.
That.
There is, however, a couple of things that's talking against it, but we don't have to put up with that at the moment.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think anything was ever said or implied against other races. So I'm not saying you're wrong. I definitely agree. They are all white from what I remember.
Yeah.
And they are looking for power structure. Ben's trying to control things, but I don't. I didn't see anything that would even make me.
You don't. You live with this type of nature. I don't say.
Yeah.
It is. Your country is one of those who's trying to restore the white balance or something like that. We have it in Sweden as well, so I might just well put that aside.
Okay.
But
yeah, let's see if it comes up more, because obviously we do have a lot of.
But we always look at this from our own perspective,
Yeah.
and one of my perspectives is we have had fallout feeling before about these bunkers and stuff, and now we have the newest Fallout 4 out, and they start in this type of little town, and that's what I suddenly get that one together. But this is made 10 years before that Fallout 4, so. Let's move over.
Well, I guess to your point though, so even though this is taking place in 2004, they do seem like they're using older technology, record players.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. I think at that point, no, I had gotten rid of my record players already. So they're a little bit behind the times, yeah.
Well, not really. I don't use my record player, I should say. I'm never going to sell my records. Never.
Yeah.
Now, there is... No, forget it.
So, anything else on that one?
No, not really.
Okay.
I mean, it's a very good... We had a lot of questions when we, in last episode, how they're going to do this. And you have to realize that they have to start doing sideshows, so to speak. Each one gets their own show now in the start. If they have made all 3 episodes blended, it would have been very hard keeping track of where's where and who's who and all that stuff, and you couldn't get those flashbacks to work. At all.
Yeah.
So it was very good done, these 3 episodes.
Yeah, and to me, I think for that one in particular, the thing I like most is just that, I mean, I didn't see any of this coming. Like, I wouldn't have predicted they're living in these houses, or that there was an old zoo that they're keeping as, like, keeping these people prisoner in. Like, I didn't know what would happen once we got back to, the others.
For me, seeing this for the first time, now I did... Of course, I saw it was Ethan and Goodwin and Ben. But we started with this, some sort of earthquakey thing. And I was thinking flashback many years. And then they go out and see the airplane.
Yeah.
That was so awesome. And it's within the first 5 minutes of season 3. And I was... Holy, well, I'm not going to swear on our part, but I was totally freaked out. If I hadn't sat down, I would have sat down. I can tell you that.
Yeah, I agree.
So
it was
that episode's absolute outstanding moment is awesome.
Cool. Well, let's move on then to Glass Ballerina, and we can go back if we need to. But episode 2... Saeed searches for a location for another signal fire, but his plan could have fatal consequences for Jin and Sun. Reunited in captivity, Kate and Sawyer begin hatching a plot to escape from the others. Ben makes a skeptical Jack an intriguing offer. Andy has an interesting presentation to back it up. In a flashback, Jin is forced to confront Sun's lover. So that last sentence kind of sums up what I don't like about this episode. My notes actually have a bunch of swear words in it because this is a Sun flashback or Sun and Jin? I think just Sun.
Well, it is Sun because Glass Ballerina is what she started her lying stuff with.
Yeah, so this one basically, I mean, I'm just going to jump right to it, shows that Sun actually did sleep with Mr. Lee while she was married to Jin.
Yeah.
And to me, that just pretty much ruined her as a character to me. Like,
sort of, But I sort of understood that was implied from day one.
I remember in season 2, I had to go back and watch that episode twice because I was like, wait, was she with him or not? But she was, and I understand her motivation. I'm not saying I don't believe it. I just, and her dad knew about it. Let's do the flashback first.
Yeah.
Her dad found out, or he knew somehow, and he basically sends Jin to kill Mr. Lee, but Jin doesn't know why. Jin thinks it's some other reason.
Yep.
And I thought that was all played really well. Like, when you actually see Jin and Lee, like when Jin's beating him up, and they're both like super tense. They're like in each other's face, and neither of them know why. Like, they're both looking at the situation completely different.
Yeah.
Jin thinks that this guy's afraid because he offended Mr. Paik, and Lee thinks that Jin knows, and they're like, one's asking a question, the other's answering it, but it's two different messages. That was really good. That was really good.
And then shame, so let's jump.
Yeah, I don't understand that part, but
no, that's Asian. You and I aren't Asian.
Yeah. So
and it's all about the honor system, I suspect. So, and I totally agree with the honor system up to a point. You don't have to jump from a high building because you are ashamed.
Yeah.
Of course, you have to repent some other way. But not Mr. Lee. He thought it was more fun to fly.
Yeah, and I think this whole flashback is in here to just cast doubt on whose baby it is. But I don't really know why that matters.
We have already established that it is Lee's. I
don't know. I mean, I guess by showing it to us, if it's not his, then this is all a waste of time.
Hold it. We are in doubt, of course, because we are on the island, and the island might have actually healed Jin to be able to make it. Sorry.
Right. But I mean, if that is true, then this whole Lee misdirection thing is kind of a waste of time.
Yeah.
And because I don't think Jin's going to find out, actually.
Nope.
I think
he doesn't want to.
Well, and the only one who knows his son, I don't see any reason she would tell him at this point.
Nope.
So it doesn't seem like it has any purpose other than to make her character less. So yeah, I don't know.
But let me put it this way. They are getting less interesting, both of them, both Jin and Sun. They are going downwards on the list. They're not on top 10 anymore.
Yeah, and pretty much. So, I mean, I guess if we stick with them, they and Saeed are now plus 1 day after they were supposed to meet Jack and the others.
Yep.
And Saeed basically is going to... basically, Saeed is... he wants to create an ambush for them.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like, I'm sorry, but I feel like it was a stupid idea.
Totally idiotic, yeah.
But mean,
for Saeed, it doesn't matter anymore. I mean, his Glass Ballerina is dead, and he has nothing more to do.
But, I mean, they put Sun on the boat, right? So,
Yep.
and they were
Hello.
watching. They're watching for people to come to the boat from the dock.
No,
So,
not to the boat, to the beach.
oh,
They are
that's right.
believing, yeah, they are believing that the others are going straight for the fire.
But wouldn't you be positioned in such a way that you could also see the boat?
Yeah, or shouldn't you even have at least the boat somewhere off the dock?
Yeah. Oh, that's
Uh,
even better.
yeah,
So basically, yeah. So Sun's on the
because
boat. These others come
mhm.
up from the water. Sun shoots one of them. I thought that was
Yep,
interesting.
yep, the ladies as well.
And then she
If you
is,
shoot, we are going to be enemies, and she does it. She doesn't care. She just shoots.
yeah, that was interesting. I
Yep.
think that lady's name was Colleen. I don't know if it matters later or not, but
Hopefully
Colleen
she's
was
dead.
shot, and Sun escapes, and then they decide they're going to walk back to the beach, I guess, because the
Yeah.
boat was stolen.
Yep.
So that was kind of an interesting.
Okay. No, that's about it. That's about it for them. It
And
was a stupid situation, and it did resolve nicely, even so.
yeah,
Uh,
and we
there is one thing I thought of.
okay.
If the others had knew that that Sun was pregnant, they would have wanted to take her alive.
That yeah, I don't think they know that.
No. And that's strange because they know everything, don't they?
Well, we actually see Ben. So back earlier in this episode, we see Ben watching on camera what's going on in the cells, but also somebody comes in the room and says that the Iraqi found the decoy village.
Yeah.
And Ben said, "Good, that's what we wanted." So like
Yeah.
they wanted Saeed to find the decoy. This is like where it's plot within plot for me because why go through a whole decoy village, but then they wanted him to find it and then do what? I wasn't sure. But
Because,
then,
well, I suspect that they wanted him to have something to think of. And he's a tactical person. He's also an old soldier. So by having him tied up with stuff that doesn't, well, interest anyone, that
well,
might be the reason.
one thing that was interesting was that Ben genuinely looked surprised that he had a sailboat
Yeah.
and he wants it, which
Yep.
that's interesting. That's interesting to me.
The other team wants the boat. That was my first line.
Yeah. Yeah, so like so they must not have observation on the beach because
Nope.
they didn't know that he had a boat.
Nope. That's okay.
And I think in this episode we didn't get anything happening on the beach or
No,
in the hatch, right?
nope, not at all.
Okay.
Now it's Sawyer and
Yeah.
Kate is a bit stupid as usual, I said, but I don't say why.
I'm pretty sure you say that because she's breaking the rocks and they have their little kiss.
That was Sawyer.
Yeah, Sawyer did set that all up just to test the
Yep.
strength of the guards. That was cool.
Yeah, that was really cool. But he's talking too loud.
Well, my question is, okay, they're hauling rocks. They got armed guards.
Yep.
They're supposed to break and haul rocks. First off, what
Yep.
are they making?
Nothing.
Second off, are all the but there's a lot of other people also breaking and hauling rocks. Are they all
Yeah.
prisoners?
Well, that was one of my questions. Or are they also the others? Or is there, as I have said several times, two groups of the others? The nice ones and the not so nice ones.
That could be. Yeah, that was interesting.
And that means that the good ones are the ones that lives in that nice houses, and the others are the ones that are somewhere in some Dharma Initiative hole, in bunks, perhaps doing something. I don't know. And that's why they're also using them.
Well, and I got the impression that because it seemed like there was a lot of progress made before Sawyer and Kate got there. So they've been breaking these rocks and doing something with these rocks. Like, I don't know.
I doubt that, but in a longer run, they might actually use them for something. But I doubt we'll ever see that.
Yeah, I don't. I don't know if it's.
You're thinking way too much Minecraft because you mine stuff. You don't have to use it.
Well, I mean, I think there's always. I mean, obviously, the showrunners want us to wonder what are they making.
Wow,
I think
yes,
we'll find out. I don't know if it matters.
But the others, well, we'll just keep that thought alive for a moment more. Yep. I haven't seen people being, let's face it, they are not the same, all of them. Some are going without shoes, and that's what they usually do. Mm-hmm. We have, well, there is one thing that I actually didn't like, and that was the fact that Sawyer was talking to Kate in the cages, and Ben was listening in on them as well. Mm-hmm. Everyone is surveillanced in this, and that's not really fun. It's obvious, and I thought that Sawyer or Kate would at least understand that they are submitted to and listened to.
Yeah, I don't know if. Well, I think Sawyer should suspect it, and I think they both should suspect it actually.
And if they do, then you have to listen in on what they say from a different perspective, because what Sawyer says is there are not many who can handle guns, and there are not many that can fight. He has checked that, and when he says that, all they need to wait for is a slip up. And that means that Ben now needs to make sure that all his gang knows that Sawyer is, suspecting that. And, of course, there's going to be some sort of trap set for him.
Yeah.
But if Sawyer is actually knowing that they are surveillance and listening to, then he's saying that because he wants them to set a trap. Now we are talking about stories inside the stories.
Exactly, yeah. If I was in that situation, I would almost be afraid to escape because I would think they let you go just to punish you more when you get caught. Like, I've just seen it happen so many times in movies and TV.
Yeah, we have that as our culture background, yeah.
But the interesting thing is that Ben with Jack... Yeah. Jack's not trying to escape now. I guess the threat of being underwater worked.
Yeah.
And Ben says, I have a proposition. If you cooperate, I will take you home.
Yep.
Which is really interesting because do you think Jack wants to go home, or is he to stay on the island?
No, he doesn't want to stay on the island. No, he shouldn't. No, let me rephrase that because that sounds so strange. He shouldn't want to stay on the island because he has another life that is not complete somewhere else. But on the other hand, here's things to fix on this island. Yeah. He is always referring to the others on the plane as his friends, even if him and Sawyer aren't really friends.
Yeah, I mean, back home, he's got this wife, ex-wife, dead dad. I mean, does he have... We haven't seen him interact with any friends.
No, but he is still a surgeon, and he wants to do that work, I suspect. And then it's always... that it's not about the status as a hero. Mm-hmm. If you, on the other hand, turn the table around and look at it from Ben's perspective, they want him off the island. They want Jack to go home.
Okay.
Because he is that freaking hero. They don't need another hero. Sorry, Tina Turner, but I just had to steal that. They don't need another hero. That's what it's all about. So, yes, but what is it they want Jack to do?
I
could have killed the DVD player.
Well, I have a feeling. We will find out in the next three after these three.
Okay. Let's talk faster then.
That's what I have for episode 2. What else you got?
Not much. As you said, it was the low point of these three. mainly because of that disappointing Iraqi stuff that didn't work, and the Din Sun problem that I didn't care much for.
Yeah,
Very nicely done, very nice environments and stuff, but
I liked all the stuff with
yeah.
Ben and the others, the captivity. I liked the shootout, and the fact that Sun shot her. I just didn't like the flashback. That's
that's
the only thing I didn't like.
Well, let's move over to episode 3.
All right.
Further instructions. Now let's see if I can read this with extra light. No, I can't. After waking up in the jungle, disoriented and unable to speak. Oh, yes, that's true. Locke. Oh, I can't see what it says.
Builds a sweat lodge.
Oh, yeah. No, I can't read it, man.
I'll read it. No worries. Locke builds a sweat lodge. Visions of Boone point Locke in the direction of Mr. Echo, while Hurley discovers Desmond, who seems to have a unique power of his own. In a flashback, Locke welcomes a newcomer to his communal farm and faces yet another betrayal. Mm-hmm. This one I like the least of the 3, to be honest with you.
Well, I didn't like the flashback, but I did like the sweat lodge and all that. That's telling me that Locke is finally accepting that the island wants him to do stuff.
I feel like, okay, I think this idea of a sweat lodge is dumb in that it seems like it just came out of nowhere. Like suddenly he can't talk, and he thinks of going in a sweat lodge. I was like, why would you think of going in a sweat lodge? Like,
and then they have to use the flashback to describe why he's thinking those terms. Yeah.
But okay, so it's John's flashback. He's basically on some hippie farm, where they're growing pot and they're hiding, and there's a cop infiltrating them.
Yeah.
And John, so like, okay, to me, this whole flashback is basically just reinforcing what the cop says to John is that his psych profile shows that he's amenable to coercion.
Yeah.
So he's easily taken in. He's easily tricked. Now we've seen it with his dad. We see him falling into this cult, basically.
Yeah.
We see the cops take advantage of him. And then on the island, we see him basically, he's being taken in by the island. And it's almost casting a negative, like the interaction in season 1 for sure, and most of season 2 with John and the island was like a positive thing.
Yeah.
Now they're almost starting to make it think of like the island's using him.
Yeah. But there is one thing we still haven't. There's one more puzzle, one more jigsaw piece we need, and that is that darn wheelchair. We haven't seen that yet.
Yeah.
And I would rather have that, actually, than knowing that he is already blue-eyed and everyone can point him in the one direction he will go. But the main frame, well, that is the flashback. And the flashback, let me put it this way, it has nothing to do with Locke. It actually was totally out of Locke's character. I couldn't see him go to this cult, as you might call it.
Exactly.
It has nothing to do with that guy we saw trying to marry a lady and all that stuff. It has nothing to do with him.
Exactly.
I mean, it would rather be Sawyer than Locke.
And so John's in the sweat lodge. Let's talk about that. And he sees this weird hallucination, the airport. Somebody's in danger. He's got to figure out who it is.
Yeah.
And it turns out that they've got Echo. Echo's in danger. And then you find out that it's the polar bears that have captured Echo and are going to eat him.
Yeah.
I was like, what? Like, this is the stupidest thing. And then there's like a CGI bear who was actually eating Echo.
Yep.
In the cave. And I was just like, what? This is dumb. Like, what? Where did this...
There are several wrong things with that one. First of all, Mr. Echo has, to me, been as strong as a polar bear. So he should have been able to defend himself. Now, he was blown apart, of course, of that blast in the bunker. But why would a polar bear go down and haul him up?
Yeah, I just... anyone at any point in this entire story that gets captured by a polar bear, dragged back to their den to be eaten, and someone has to go save them, just seems... it just doesn't seem believable.
Not when you're describing
that
it.
This is his quest. Like, the island wants him to clean up his mess. So does it mean that the island wants him to save Echo, and Echo not pressing the button was the mess that he now has to clean up? And how is he cleaning it up by saving Echo? Like, I just don't get it. Like,
first of all, the mess was not believing in the island. That was the mess. By saving Echo, he is now telling the island, yes, I'm on the right track again. I believe in you. I am your servant. You know the drill. But the thing he needs to do in order to get that trust from the island back, that's totally stupid. I mean, they want to put in a new polar bear because we have shot one. They need to have one more. Okay, that's okay. I can live with that. But why Mr. Echo of all people? And why not eat him alive while you have him? I mean, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, and, it was just kind of weird. It was it was weird.
There was several other stuff. I mean, the polar bear, they can see the tracks leading from the hatch, but they can't see any tracks to the hatch. They haven't seen any tracks of a polar bear around the hatch or wherever. Suddenly, from nowhere, we are now creating a polar bear. There, we have some danger. Good. This is, well, to be totally, the scripts writers are going to have their saying in this because it's their fault. It's totally their fault. And it's also out of character for Mr. Echo, and it's all out of character for the polar bear as well.
Well, and I was trying to figure out, like, he couldn't talk.
Nope.
So was that supposed to be similar to the fact that Mr. Echo didn't talk? Because that was by choice, right?
That was by choice, but in Mr. Locke's case, it was because he has nothing to say. I don't understand that.
Like, the island was able to actually
control
affect him. Well, I guess it can affected his legs too. I don't know. That whole part was kind of weird to me.
Yeah, but it wasn't weird enough to get us to put up intelligent questions.
Yeah.
It really made us ask, what the hell were they thinking? And I understand that. But it's still all about Locke getting the trust back to the island and the island getting trust for Locke. Now,
we also don't know. Okay, so the hatch imploded, right?
Yep.
So somehow Echo ends up in a polar bear place. John wakes up in the jungle, and then Desmond wakes up somewhere else, which we'll cover in a minute.
Yeah.
But, like, so how did they get to those places? You know, that was kind of weird too. Like, I mean, John was in. You saw the hatch. Like, it was a huge hole in the ground. How did he get out? Right? Yeah. Like, how did they get away?
And they are not going to answer those questions.
Yeah, that was weird. Like, that was weird. So.
Let's see if there's anything that. Nope. And the Boone thing was rather interesting, mainly because Boone is someone that Locke believes has been some sort of help before. And by using Boone in the meditation of the sweat hut, you couldn't believe that you go inside a hut and something particular will happen. You can sit down wherever you want as long as you meditate.
Yeah.
And if you meditate, things might pop to you. You actually will get something, but when I meditate, I usually fall asleep.
Well, he took the paste, the drugs that made Boone hallucinate. I mean, that's so. If he learned about the Sweat Lodge from the communal farm, which I don't remember. Oh yeah, no, there was a slut lodge there. So does that mean that he took drugs back then when he was there?
Well, he accepted them at least.
I mean,
perhaps he learned about them.
Yeah, I don't know.
But it doesn't explain. We don't really. Well, we didn't like that. The only thing we thought of when it comes to Locke's flashback is that Eddie character, the cop, he was to shoot him and he didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. What else is new? He hasn't done that stuff before, so that's totally in character.
Yeah.
But.
So we also saw Desmond.
Yeah. You like
Hurley.
him still, right?
What's that?
You like him still.
Oh yeah, I mean this part is a little bit weird. So Desmond's running around naked for some reason. And Hurley finds Desmond and he's like, "So the hatch blew off your underwear?"
Yeah.
No, I thought that was hilarious.
Again, it's miscommunications, but on a fun level.
Yeah. And so, like, okay, I don't know why Desmond survived, why he's naked, like, that's weird. And then there's this weird bit where Desmond says to Hurley, like, Locke's going after them. He said so in his speech. And then Hurley's like, what speech? And then Desmond's like, never mind. And then I think what we're supposed to believe, like probably 5 minutes later, is then Locke gives the speech and it's like, how did Desmond know in advance? Yeah. Did he see the future? Yeah. Which it came off a little bit weird.
You think so? The fun part is that Desmond is actually standing on the beach throwing stones into the ocean, dressed in what could be a t-shirt, but it looks like a dress.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, meanwhile, he's standing there, the new hero, Locke, and suddenly Hurley is switching between looking at Locke and looking at Desmond.
Yeah.
And that was the most awesome in that episode. I was really liking it.
Yeah.
I mean, put yourself in Hurley's clothes.
Oh, yeah.
What are you to suspect? You can't make fun of that. It was fun.
Yeah. And I don't think Desmond was, he acted drunk and he acted tense and weird before the hatch. Yeah. But now he's acting stranger.
Yes, but this new ability must be new. That is, he is getting it because of that explosion of the hatch and stuff.
Yeah, honestly, like, I would almost think that there was something else weird going on, except for what I just read in this jacket that it says seems to have a unique power of his own. Like, obviously it was enough that you got the impression, but to me, like, it could have been easily explained away. So I think
could have.
It looks like they are going down a route where Desmond's got the power to, like, see into the future, which is again, like with everything else in this episode, it's kind of weird.
Yeah, but it's still interesting because it makes for a very interesting level when, if the others learn that Desmond has this ability, they will want him for everything. Now, who has given him this ability, if anyone? Of course, it's the island. Desmond has already shown the island that he is a trustworthy guy. He's actually taking care of the button, and he is leaving the button to someone else. And then he can't move. He can't get away. He's trying to sail away, and he's coming back again. Right? Mm-hmm. So the island wants him still here. And now, after the kaboomy with the explosion and stuff, they are giving him an ability that no one else has that might come of use, but Desmond has no idea where he got it from or how to use it even. That's the usual stuff with superheroes, right? And I think that could be for something to be a weapon on the beach's side or a weapon on the other's side. But still, that make suddenly Desmond is much more interesting than he has ever been.
Yeah, I mean, and let's say that that's the route they're actually going, right? Like this
Yep.
is the first person. So Walt had some powers, but
Yep.
I don't
He
think
had
he
them
could
before.
control them, and things just
Nope.
happened.
Yep.
And Hurley obviously has the bad luck, which I don't know if that's a power. Did anyone else have powers? Like there's the healing power of the island.
Yep.
There's potentially psychic powers of other people, but like Desmond's the first person. Like I feel like Desmond's the first person to have like an active power.
Yeah, but he got it. Has been a very special event, and
Sure.
we don't know if Mr. Echo has got something as well, and we actually don't know if Locke has got something. They were all down there.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not really ready for I guess
You're
I'm
not
reacting to
ready.
what you said. I don't want somebody if somebody's going to have a power, I want it to be weird and not controllable. I think that's my concern.
Well,
I
it
don't
is weird, and you can't control it. You are getting to these suddenly flashbacks. Now, we are going to talk about some other flashbacks. Desmond had a flashback of a speech that hasn't happened yet.
well,
So
we
it's
think
not controllable.
we think so, right? Like
Yeah, well, that's the only evidence we have.
I mean, what if
What if?
what if he saw or heard I don't
No.
know, I'm just making this up now, but like what
Yeah.
if he somehow overheard Locke saying I think
No.
the timing wouldn't have worked, right? Because
No.
Locke didn't.
No.
Or maybe he
And
read Locke's mind, right? Like that Locke was going
no,
to
but
make a speech.
he wasn't able to think about a speech at that time.
Yeah, yeah,
Nope.
no, you're right. The timing doesn't seem to work. We'll see. We'll see. I'm curious where it's going,
And we
but
have had this time discussion before when Hurley said it. Perhaps we don't know even when we are.
yeah,
We
but that
don't
was a
know
joke.
how time. Yeah, it was a joke, but still, we don't really know when everything is actually moving about
Sure.
because we are all over the place.
Yeah. So like I said, I like Desmond. He's one of my favorites.
Well, he's moving up. He's
So
really moving up
we'll
because I
see.
like the superhero. But there was one part missing in these 3 episodes. It might pop up in the next 3. We are not seeing everyone.
We're not, and we also got introduced to two new characters in this episode.
Yeah.
Very briefly, Nikki and Paulo.
Yep. And they need to be there. There need to be more people doing stuff on the beach when
Yeah.
the main 3 is off.
That's what the showrunners felt as well. Like
Yeah. You
time
need to
to
have some more names on the beach.
yeah, yeah. So I'll just spoil the fact that they are in more episodes. I've been waiting for them. Like I thought they were in season 2,
Okay.
but obviously not. So
I didn't even bother to note them down. I have to do that later on, then I suspect.
yeah, I mean basically like, I'm pretty sure that in the next 3 you're going to see them again, so
Yeah.
it's obvious that they have some
But the
stories.
persons I want to see more about, or just at least one, is Miss Whitmore
Yeah, we didn't see her at
and
all,
her
right?
Russian friends. That's how we ended the second season. We haven't seen anything of her. I mean, just one scene about her ordering a ticket to fly somewhere or whatever. That would have been enough to know that she is on the case.
Yeah.
But we don't know. We don't really, and that's really bugging me as well. At the same time, it's exciting, of course.
I agree.
Yeah. So, and is there anyone else we are missing? They are trying to do them all, right? Yeah. Oh no, there's a couple of others as well. We don't know anything about Walt and Michael.
That is correct. We don't
We
know
did.
anything at all.
We didn't get any information about those two either.
I
And
mean, the assumption would be that they got off, right? Because
yeah.
they didn't run into Saeed.
Nope.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. And they are not white, so they are okay to send off the island. Yes, there it goes.
Oh
my
my
point
gosh.
exactly. Well, I have to prove it somehow, didn't I?
Okay, that's fine.
Right. Well, we don't have time to sit here and blabber all evening, do we? We need to watch some TV.
we need to watch episodes 4, 5, and 6, which are
Yes.
4 is called Every Man for Himself.
Well, that hasn't been so far.
Well, okay, here. What's your initial guess, just based on the title? Who's flashback or who's the focus? Every Man for Himself.
Flashback might be Sawyer but we are through with Sawyer. Well, I'll say Sawyer anyway.
Yeah.
And I suspect main story is back at the others.
Yeah, like trying to escape every man for themselves. 5 is The Cost of Living.
Ooh. A hard one. I don't know.
Okay.
I can't guess.
And episode 6 is called I Do. So I hope it's not another Jack and Sarah episode.
Oh, no, please.
But it obviously has something to do with the wedding, right? I Do, probably.
Yeah.
So
it's either... No, not Kate and Sawyer. Well, we'll see about that.
Oh, well, that's interesting. Perhaps maybe Ben is pushing them. That's interesting, yeah.
Well,
okay.
It might be, but then the main focus is back on the others again. It might also be the church. Then Mr. Echo is at it again.
Oh, Charlie and Claire?
Charlie and Claire. The two most useless at the moment.
Or Ben, not Ben. Ben and Rose. Rose and Bernard, maybe renewing vows, or
so the church is actually usable.
Virginia's son.
Well, yeah. We are guessing wildly. Well, you are not, perhaps, but I am.
I have
no idea.
I don't know. I mean, I know one thing that happens soon, 2 things, but like. I don't remember how this season ends. Like, I'm purposely in a little bit of a gray area, but I also don't remember what, like, I remember a couple big arcs.
Yeah.
But I don't remember, like, 22 specific episodes.
No, that's not really possible either. So. And then you and me, we are not watching them at the same way either. That's fun. I'm seeing it from one angle, and you are seeing it from 2 angles. Both the old seeing you had, and now you're seeing it for the second time, and you're seeing it with another angle on that as well.
Yeah.
So we are adding 3 angles.
Yeah. So.
Not angels, but almost.
So go watch these 3, and then come back next Saturday and hear us talk about them.
Absolutely. And thanks for listening.
Yep. Bye-bye.
Bye.